All right, I'm back. Let's try this one more time. And I don't know what happened. I think I may have not had my earbuds close enough to me. I had them here, like right there, but they were not close enough. I think that may have been the issue. So I am Melissa with MJH Designs. I'm coming in today. We're going to sketch something. This time, I'm not necessarily going to do a step by step. And no, it's not this guy right here. I just sketched him out right before I came live. But I am going to be sketching. I'm just going to try something that I haven't done. And I want you to come along for the journey because I want to show you how thank you, Lynn, how I would sketch this out. And you're going to see me struggle and fight through it. And you get to see that and see that not everybody you see on here, well, I'm not perfect, but everybody has to go through these struggles and you will too. And you're not going to start out drawing things perfectly. Doesn't matter how long you draw, you're still going to have to adjust and play with things. But sometimes I like to just scroll things, like I scroll Facebook sometimes, and something will stand out to me, and I'll either draw it or paint it just for the sake of doing it to see if I can. It's like a challenge. And sometimes I just love it and I just want to do it, but I don't do it on a painting. I'll do it like in my sketchbook. So, hey Rose, I have a photo right here I found on Unsplash by Mike Cox, and I thought it was really cool. Now, to teach that step by step will take forever. I want to just come in here and see if I can do it, and I want you to hang out with me and hey Diane, and let's see if we can do it. And then I'll put the photo up if you want to try it out too. Let me pull that off. So I don't know if you can see that with the let me get the overhead light. Maybe that glare go away. Hold on. Let's see if that made it too dark in here. Okay, yeah, the glare on the iPad went away. Now I'm not gonna zoom in or anything. Like I just drew this little guy before. I didn't zoom in. I didn't want the details. I just wanted to get what I saw. That helps you be a little bit more loose when you're not trying to get all the super fine details. So I'm going to take me off the screen, and I'm out of breath just from getting up to turn the light out. How y'all doing? All right. So I'm going to move this, see if I can. There we go. Get that right. Move that over there. All right. So let me just draw me a little triangle. Not a triangle. What's wrong with me today? It's a rectangle. Oh my word. How am I doing? Doing great. I don't know the difference between a triangle and a rectangle. This might not go too well. The reason I drew that box off is so I can have my little parameters. You know what give me an idea of what you think I'm going to start with first. Throw it out here to me. I'm going to have a sippy sip while you tell me. What do you think I'll start with first? And there's lag time on my end, so I won't see it as soon as you comment. So I'm like patiently waiting. The tree. I could see where that would be your first thought, but what I want to draw first is my yes, Diane. Ding, ding, ding. Diane won. I'm going to draw my horizon line because it's going to give me the parameters of where I need to start, where I need to end, and all that. So I want to draw that first. And it is really, really close, which you don't want to draw the horizon line super close to the center. But this photo was taken, and it is super close to the center. But I'm just going to draw it as I see it. I could adjust this if I wanted to, like this, which would be the correct way to draw this. So, well, oh my gosh, hold on. Let me come back, wherever you went. Where did it go? Don't tell me I have lost it. You got to bear with me a second. Oh my gosh. I may have lost it altogether and I won't be able to. Well, I don't even know what's happened here. I can't even get it to pull up. I don't know what I did, y'all. Go into my search bar. I hit some crazy button. And now probably will not find that photo, even though it was right on the main page. So bear with me 1 second. Gosh. Coming up close. Right there. Let me screenshot it first before I mess up again. All right. So, um, normally you don't want the horizon line smack dab in the center of the photograph, and it's not right in the center. It is slightly below it. But I'm just going to draw it as it is. So now I have my horizon line. Now I have this line up here, and I can look and see where my tree is going to start and stop. So I can go ahead and start pulling in. I'm not trying to draw the little prickly pears, the little things on the tree. I'm just trying to get me a shape in. And this, I'm not doing a step-by-step lesson. I just want you to see how I would go about it. Look at the distance between that space over there and the tree. And I will just kind of lightly, can you see that? Let me draw it darker. I will just come in. I was lightly drawing it so that I can erase easily, but y'all can't see it. So I am just going to try to draw it darker. So you can see what I'm doing. And mine's not as wide either, so that's probably going to mess me up a little bit. All right, I'm going to angle this line coming down. Here, there's a knot that comes down. Just doing a rough sketch. And then it's going to come up about here. And then it turns and comes down. So I just have a rough sketch of this tree. And then you got all these little prickly things. It's the palm trees, little prickly palms that are coming out. And I'm just going to mimic something like that so that you get the idea. If I were drawing this to paint it, I'm not one of those people that wants to sit here and draw and shadow and all that kind of stuff, but it is beneficial just to draw outlines and that kind of stuff. And it's therapeutic too. So I'm not going to put in all that detail, just getting basic shapes. All right, so now I get to come in and start with her. So, Lynn, you were almost right. I started with my horizon line, but then my tree would be my next step. And now my person is going to be my next step. I'm not, I mean, you can leave out and put in as much as you want to, but I want to put her in. And then I can look at the horizon line to figure out where she belongs. where her head is going to start, where her legs and stuff will come. So I have my tree down here, and if I have my tree in the right place, it's always a question. I can look and see from the tree to her feet, it is a slight angled line. Did you see that? Did you see what my brain did? And yours will do the same thing. If you lay your pencil down here, you're going to try to fudge it a little bit and do what you think it's doing, but you got to do what it really is doing. So don't let yourself turn that pencil. And it's so hard. It's so hard. You want to turn the pencil. So I know my her foot may end up right there. But if you're not watching yourself, your brain is going to tell you one thing when it's what you really think it is. You're going from memory, and it's not right. Okay, so I have her foot here. I'm going to come up. I know her head is going to be right around in here. I'm going to come out with the bib of her brim of her hat right there. Going to come up with the round part and bring this around. See you later, Rose. So now I have her hat in, and now I have to get her face. I see her nose is sticking out right here, but it's not going to be big. And then I see face and a chin. I do see trees behind her face. So it's messing up her profile a little bit. And that is not what her face looks like to me. And then her hair is going to come down. And I'm not zooming in on this. I don't want to zoom in. If I zoomed in on it, I would be able to really see what her face looks like. But I don't want to. I want to do it loose and more loose and free rather than exact. I don't want to be exact. I've been too exact in my paintings lately for my liking, and I don't want to continue. I want to do things differently. So I'm just putting some waves of hair in, and then her shoulder comes down from here. I'm not sure how well you're seeing this. I'm trying to, that's hair coming down. So her shoulder is right at the edge of the horizon line, right there. You see me trying to figure this out, bringing that arm down this way, and then it's going to go back out. And I'm going to check the proportions in just a second. I'm just trying to get these in here, the outside parameters first. And I still think I'm off a little bit. I just popped in and slanted pencil was the best tip ever. I'm on it. I have to replay, but I had to tell you a quick pop in and thank you, Kathy. It is one of the best tricks I've ever learned myself. So yes, you can always use that to help you out a little bit. Okay. Now, let's play with, I feel like this is slanted a little too much right there. There's a slight slant to it, but it's not a big drastic one. So let's see where we are. I'm gonna come back over here and get my bearings. I'm gonna come up from here. I've got the bottom of the foot. It may not be in the correct place. Let me come and get the outside first. Had I gone ahead and drawn in some parameters like this, that will give me some more guidelines to go by. And I've got something cool to share with y'all too later. See, I don't even have that right. I'm just putting me in some guidelines real quick to keep me on track of what I think anyway. Okay. I'll have her hand ending somewhere right in here. And then her shorts. I don't think that's far enough down. So what we're doing, we're just working through the drawing. You're seeing me work through it on my own. It's kind of hard for me to do it and talk at the same time too, though. Okay, I got to get this elbow in and get this shoulder coming down here. And then the arm turns and goes that way. So that helps me get my placement better. And then right here, kind of goes out and then comes back in. And then the shirt kind of gathers right down in here. Get some shadows. So now my arm's going to come down a little bit further, my hand. So I know my shorts are going to come down a little bit further. Condo pool party. Can't wait. Rosie, I just don't know, girl. You're living the life. I've got one hand there, so the other hand is going to end up right in here. Remember, I'm not trying to get full details right now. I'm just trying to get placement. Basic shape outlines. This is why you need an eraser. You're not going to get it. If you do, you're amazing. But you're not going to get it right off. Notice that right there. I don't know if you can see it. I see a shadow in her hand that shows me that her hand is cupped over and her fingers are coming back this way. So I'm just going to lightly draw that in. She has something in this hand. I can't tell what it is. Looks like I can't remember. I'm old and and I can't see. Now I'm going to tell you one thing you got to be careful about is looking at the size of things. Now I would have probably drawn those shorts much larger, and it's only a small space between her shirt and the top of the cuff of the shorts. And like I feel like that one does come down just a little bit. So instead of, we would probably draw the short straight across like that, but you got to notice that it comes down at an angle and then goes back up. It kind of makes like a V shape. Well, I erased the wrong line. Okay, so now I'm going to continue. Now I've got everything I'm building off. I started with one thing and I build off of it until I get all the way done with it. But I'm just getting basic little shapes in first, and then I can come back and refine it after I do that. So the gap starts right around there. I feel like the gap is too large here, but I'm just going to go with it. I'm just going to draw this left leg in, and it's kind of slanted, and then it goes back. I'm not going to get it just right. Start with the leg over here, comes inside the shorts just a little bit and comes down a slight curve out. And this is where we have the most problem with like shapes of legs and stuff like that. So you just got to really pay attention and kind of draw what you see. And it takes practice. And that's why the more you do stuff like this, it's going to help you see things in your painting so much better. So yeah, while this is a challenge, even for me, it's good to challenge yourself to try things. I'm drawing in shadow work right now that I see. Everything is a shape. You got to remember that. The shadows on her legs and everywhere is a shape. That's a little bit difficult right there. That shoe, because of the angle of it. Thank you, Anna. Okay, and I'm paying attention to where her leg and her shorts are, where they start and stop. So, trying to just draw in. And I have to pay attention to where they meet up to this other leg as well. And this one comes inside the shorts and it does a slight angle. You can lay your pencil down on it and see the slight angle. You got to remember to breathe every now and then because you're going to be holding your breath. That's what I just did. Now, you know there's a curve here in the leg, and you can get it way off. So just kind of slightly put it in. It's a little dip right here, and then it curves out, and then it comes back into the ankle. And this shoe is going to come off, like I may not have that one out far enough. This shoe builds off of that shoe. That helps give you some parameters to go by. And then I can finish with her leg, her ankle coming up out of the shoe. And there's something just not right there. There's some shadow right here. talking to myself, so when I start talking to myself, I'm whispering. Got that little line that comes across there. It's such a fun thing to do is to challenge yourself like this and see what you can do, and you'll amaze yourself. Like I never would have set out and done that, but step by step, it's not too far off. Pretty decent. And I'm putting in some more shadow work. Now the face is not or like what I see there. I can't it's because I can't hardly see it. And I know there's a tree coming over her shoulder right here, and it's right at her chin, and that is making it look a little bit weird too. Now I'm going to come in and start putting in some other little things that I see around. Let me bring this out just a little bit further. Now, let's see, we have right over about right here. I'm looking at where this tree starts as opposed to her arm, and this stuff doesn't have to be just right, but I'm just showing you this is how you would do it by using guidelines that are already on there, and then you're gonna stop somewhere right in here, and I think I'd have that tree. Well, it's not as long that and narrow. This whole rectangle is not as long and narrow, so it's gonna be a little bit different. Now I'm gonna put some prickly things on that. And I could have even brought it down some more. Could have brought it down further if I wanted to, so it'd have more room. I'm just playing around at this point. Now, let's pay attention to some shadow areas. Trying to get some more bush work in here. All right, so from her foot, do you see that shadow? Where's the light coming from? Tell me where the light's coming from. I'm gonna take a sip of coffee. I'm just drawing shapes that I see on the ground here up under her feet. Oh, Diane. Diane says southeast. Diane, I don't follow directions like that. I say you got to go to this building, take a right. Oh, that's so funny. I love it. from the right, and it is shining. I love it. Oh, man. Okay. So, yes, that is correct. And so all the shadows are going this way. So I can start drawing in what I see on the ground here. And that's what I'm saying. When you have a photograph, if it's a good photograph, it'll tell you everything you need to know as far as your shadow works and all that stuff. You don't have to think about it. All you have to do, and you don't have to paint the photo by the photo. You use the bones of it and use it as a guide only. I hope she has a GPS. Yes, I can't get anywhere. I used to be real good about it, and I can pretty much tell you now. But not that's not normally how I like if I was in a new town, I'd probably not know all that. I used to get turned around in the building I used to work in. I worked for the eye doctors here, and you had to go in and go up the stairs and go around and around it several times, and I would be lost. And I couldn't tell you what the front of the building. There were no windows, and I couldn't tell you what the front of the buildings, what direction we were facing. My friends tried to tell me, but I still couldn't grasp it. There was no way for me to know. So anyway, a good photo is going to tell you what you need, and you can just use the bones of the photo and not have to paint the photo as it is, not realistic or anything like that. Grab what you need out of it. Like if you needed this girl, she could be walking down on the beach. She doesn't have to be walking on this trail. She could be somewhere totally different. You just need the bones, you need the body so that you can see how to draw it. So that is the tree shadow right here coming over that way. So I hope this is helpful for you to see how you just build off of one thing a little bit at a time, and then you eventually end up with a drawing. Now there are some little trees that are coming up through here. And then if I wanted to put any more, I could put in some more over here. I can do whatever I want to. It's free. Let's darken that. Just add whatever. Yeah, I don't live without my GPS. And I would be in trouble if I wasn't able to use it. I'm pretty good with finding my way around though. Used to be better than I am now, 'cause I don't ever leave the house now. All right. So, see if we can draw some more of these little things out. There is shadow right in here. In the shirt, shadow over here on the arm. The little creases. I forgot to do all this. Now, when you're shadowing things, you're going to have a mid-tone, just like you were painting, you're going to have a mid-tone, light tone, and that dark tone as well. So your shadow area will be several different shades. All right. So here she is right there. You can definitely tell it's a person, so that's a plus. And I have not always been able to do this. I just had a desire to do it. And it just takes that desire and the willingness to try to be able to do this and to be able to paint. You just got to want to bad enough. Do I sound like your mama? You got to want to bad enough. I'll have that way too big right here. All that's in shadow. Anyway, so we got all this too that's in shadow. Y'all have any questions? I love I love finding the shadows. That's like super fun for me to find the shadows and put those in. All right, so let me know your thoughts. Let me know uh, if you find that to be scary, helpful, you're never going to do it. Would you give it a try? I mean, that was a little bit intimidating. I found this little Asian guy on there just by just taking a chance, just trying to see. I just scroll. I don't put in. You can put in details like I want a Gerber daisy, but I didn't want to do that. I didn't have a clue. I lost my list of what I was going to draw. Imagine that. And so I had no idea. So I just started scrolling and seeing what spoke to me. And that picture right there spoke to me a lot because of her and figure drawings and paintings. I love that so much. So that's why she stood out to me with that white hat, the white shirt, everything. So there you go. Come out with and again, you can leave out all that detail behind her if you wanted to. You could just draw her and then put her on a beach. She could be standing right here looking out at the water. You could have the ocean right out here. She could be right here, could be sand. This is a great tool for you. So I hope you're paying attention to it. Take her, remove her from this background, draw her, and then you can draw the horizon line, the beach, the sand coming in right here, the sky, or you can make the ocean as big as you want, looking out, and she's gazing out at the water, standing there on the beach. So that's what I'm talking about, taking the bones of something and creating your own painting. You got to be resourceful and you're not sure how to draw a person, then this is the perfect way to find a person and use the bones of the person for your purpose. You know what I'm saying? I mean, she could be standing somewhere else altogether. She doesn't have to be, she could be standing downtown Atlanta for all that matters if you want to draw all the buildings around her. All right. So nobody answered me. Does that intimidate you? Does that give you inspiration? Does that make you wanna run away and scream? Do you see yourself doing that? If you're watching the replay, I want you to answer those questions too. I hope you took away a few little tips and tricks from here anyway, whether you wanna go and draw this or not. The tips and tricks from finding your parameters around the edges, starting with the horizon line first. I don't always do that, but that was screaming to me to start with that horizon line first, then put that tree in. Then I know where to start her. And then I have all these other little parameters that help me know where to end her. You can look at the end of the page and you can also judge by the tree, tilt your pencil down to find the spot and know where her head starts from the horizon line and how far over to come here. Draw one little thing at a time and start building off of it until you get all the way down, looking for shapes and angles. And remember to use your pencil for the angles. And um, what else was I gonna? Oh, use just the bones for your own painting. So if you're just looking for a person that is looking outward, like a you could even put in profile view of a person or a girl walking away, things like that. And then you can take just her and put it into a painting of your own. Anything else that I missed? Shadow works. Look at the shadows, everything here, period, is a shape. The tree is a shape. So these were more circles, rectangles that are one rectangle going that way, one rectangle going this way, circles on the tips. Everything is a shadow. And once you learn to see the shapes, I mean everything is a shape. Once you learn to see the shapes, you got it made. You just have to connect the dots. That is all. Connect the dots and have a good eraser. All right. Rebecca says, I like to sketch to lay out a painting. That's great. The more you do, it just becomes so fun to me. I love it. And I don't sketch just to, like, I'm not one of those people that's going to do a fine art piece, but it is so fun to do. It becomes a therapeutic thing for me. And when I don't want to think about nothing, when it calms my brain down, which takes a whole heck of a lot to do. Let me tell you. Diane said, Rebecca said, I love the recap. Thank you, Rebecca. I know I could do the desert and the tree. The woman would intimidate me. And Diane, it intimidated me too, but I did it anyway. I did it anyway. And Diane, um, let me pull me back up here. And Diane, I did it live here on Facebook. So you could do it in your home and nobody ever has to see it. So give it a try and play with it. And remember the steps that I taught you about starting and seeing where one thing starts and one thing ends. That tells you where to put things. It's like uh, a graph, a guide, or something like that. So give it a try. You don't have to do it on Facebook Live. Lynn said, inspirational makes me want to practice so it wouldn't take me all day. You were able to do it much faster than I could. And that's because I do it more often, probably, Lynn. And and that's the only reason. And the more often you do something, and I'm not talking this crazy, draw an orange, draw a banana, draw a glass, anything like that. And you will eventually get to where you could draw something like this. It's possible. It's not that far away. Something else. Oh, Anna sent me this really cool thing yesterday about murals. If you don't have a projector or anything like that to draw murals on the side of a building, and I've often wondered about this whole thing of doing murals. Not that I want to go out and do them. But I've if you didn't have a projector and if you were like two buildings right next to each other, they're super close, you don't have room to project an image on the side of a building. And I've often wondered how the heck did they just freehand? Are they that good? Some people are. Some people are. That would not be me. How do they get that on there? Is what I wanted to like intricate designs. How do they get it on there? This blew my mind. I'm going to show you. So they would take a chalk, something erasable, and they would just draw doodles like this. They would doodle on the building, just like this. It doesn't matter what you doodle. You can doodle the alphabet, just like this, ABC. You can start with that, and then you can start putting basic shapes in, um, like more triangles, circles, until you have the whole building done. And then you take a photo of this whatever, and you come to Photoshop and you take a picture of whatever it is you're going to draw, and you overlay it on top of this, and you make the background a little more transparent, but you're able to see. Does this make? Am I losing y'all? I just think this is the coolest thing. So let's say we were going to take like a logo, like you could take let's take MJH. That was fat letters or something like that, and you would bring that in Photoshop or some kind of app. There's many apps out here. You can do it without having Photoshop. And you would bring that in on top of that. And so now it gives you your guide to go and paint this. And it is, they just connect the dots. So they know where that M is going to start by looking at that O right there. And they know to come out from, and there's something right up under that. So they know they got to come right on top of it. And then that J is right on top of that triangle. So they know to start that J right there and to come down right here on the B with the bottom of the J. Not necessarily, this could be a picture. It doesn't have to be letters. And just showing, does that make sense? It is so cool to me that this is just another option. Even if you were drawing something, it is so cool that somebody thought of this, and it amazes me. That's why I love community of creatives, because somebody's always going to know something that you don't, and it will help you out so much and benefit you. So even if you did this on a small scale like paper, you didn't have no resources whatsoever and you wanted to draw something out, it'd be so cool to have this in the back of in your toolbox, your creative toolbox. Isn't that cool, Rebecca? It is amazing to me. And I never would have thought about that. And it's the same concept that I just used by putting my horizon line in first, drawing my tree, getting this stuff in here to be able to draw her, which is the most difficult part of the whole drawing was her. And I knew that. So once you get the main little pieces in, you're able to use those as a guide to draw something more difficult. It's awesome. I love it. I hope you get inspired by it and go and try something a little more difficult. And then bring it back and let me see it. I want to see it. Don't just go out of here and not do anything. I want to see it. You have homework. Go do it. Bring it back. Let me see it. I want to encourage you to do things that you thought you never could. All right. Hope this whole thing was inspirational. Go draw something, and I'll see you next week. Maybe we'll come back and paint her. All right. Bye, y'all. Oh, Lynn, poor Lynn, she's got her hands full. Lynn reminded me to tell you about tonight. I'm doing an in-person paint party with the Lady Liberty, the Statue of Liberty in front of the flag. But if you don't live near me and you want to paint that, we now have an online version of that where you can go and paint Lady Liberty. And hopefully Lynn's got the link that uh she can put in here for you. So anyway, and Sally, I will be putting that in the PJs and paint group. So no worries. You can still paint her too if you're in the PJs and paint. All right, see y'all later. Bye.